Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today I have John Eaden here with me, and he owns an awesome venue called Rustic Elegance, and I'm just going to go ahead and read his bio. So, John Eaden is the proud owner of Rustic Elegance Event Center, a stunning venue tucked away in Woodbury, Tennessee. The property features a 3,100 square foot climate controlled building, a spacious 1,200 square foot covered porch, and a brand new barn, all surrounded by the natural beauty of Doolittle Waterfall and its winding creek. More than just a venue, Rustic Elegance has become a beloved backdrop for weddings and special events that capture both charm and serenity. So, welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. And, today we are going to talk all about rain plans, actually. And it's kind of fitting
Raining
because
right
it's
behind.
raining outside. It's raining here too, which is so great. But yeah, first, I said it all kind of in the intro, but like maybe you could give us a little backstory of like how everything came about with you and Rustic Elegance. I know something I forgot to mention is that you are an accomplished actor and film writer, and it's amazing. And you and your wife Jody own the venue. So maybe give us a little more of a backstory on that.
Well, my brother-in-law actually was building a restaurant in Nashville called Doubles, and he came across the property, and he knew our background and stuff, and so he thought, "Hey, would you like to go into business with me running a wedding venue?" And we said, "Yeah, sure. What the heck?" And so here we are, and it's been pretty
Wow.
exciting.
That's really cool. So you found the property, fell in love with it. Now you guys are
hmm
running it. That's so awesome and really cool. And it's a pivot from what you had done previously too in the acting world, right?
Yeah. It's kind of it was. I mean, it kind of felt really good, especially when you're doing tours and talking to guests and stuff. It kind of worked the way the way I used to work. It's just a different audience, I guess. So
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, there is still sort of, you're right, like a little bit of a performance aspect as far as like showing, like presenting, I guess I should say,
uh-huh.
as far as like, showing people around the venue and, what's good about it and things like that. And so,
Right.
yeah, you're kind of in the spotlight a little bit in that aspect of it, but then letting the couple have their spotlight once they
Yeah.
book with you. So that's
It's like
cool.
it's like putting on a show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I know. And then you are like truly like running all the behind the scenes, like making sure the lighting's okay, like making
Right.
sure all the vendors are
Exactly.
good. And so it is
Yeah.
like a production in a way. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool just how your skills from that area of your career have really translated very well into owning a wedding venue. So that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. It's been
All
a lot of fun.
right. So good. So today we're talking about rain plans. It's so fitting because it's raining today. So give me a little bit of insight. Like, how do you guys approach rain plans at Rustic Elegance?
Well, it is Tennessee, so it can rain even when it says it's not going to rain. So every
Yep.
time we have an event, we're always thinking about a possible rain plan for that event, whatever it is. And so we usually, as we get closer to their date, we'll keep in contact with them and talk to them about here's what's happening and here are the options that we have available to us. And so if they have most people want an outside wedding just because of the place. So we will move it into the barn, which is where what we call the other building is just the barn. And we'll move it into the barn and we'll try to recreate everything they had going outside. We'll try to bring that inside into the barn. And we can open all the doors up. So if they really want to kind of keep that open air feel to it, they can still do that. But we will take the time to talk to them about anything and how it's going to affect their overall event. And with that barn, they have the option to be able to use it to have cocktails or dancing or something during the day. So what we'll do is we'll take a picture of how they had it all set up for cocktails and such, and then we'll move everything out, set up their wedding, and then as they're going in to eat, we'll reset it back for the dancing and stuff for later on in the day. And try to
Mm-hmm.
make it as seamless as we can.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's super helpful. I was just out at your venue a few weeks ago and it's so gorgeous. And I'm so glad that I got to experience it all in person. But what's cool about your venue is that you truly have two event spaces that are indoor covered, climate controlled. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that really gives you guys an advantage and a lot of wiggle room as far as rain plans go, because it's not like you just have one indoor space and it's like, oh, it's already set for the reception. Like, how do we even, like, we would have to do a flip last minute where it's like, okay, you can already have that area set and ready to go, the reception space as a reception, and not have to move anything or do anything. But you
Right.
have sort of this
Right.
like flex space that you use for the barn where it's like you host cocktail hour, you can have the dancing in there. It's kind of like a flowing in and out sort of a space. And so
Right.
that is truly a great area to be like, this is where everything will happen as a ceremony. It's a great space where you can set up a ceremony in here and make it look so beautiful if we can't be outside. And so I
Right.
really appreciate that about your venue. And I think it's so smart on your part to build the barn for that purpose as well. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the whole idea. We didn't have one, so we needed to have someplace to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's a huge perk to book your venue as well. So yeah. So I guess in your experience and doing weddings at Rustic Elegance, like how often do you see couples have to actually pivot to a rain plan?
It doesn't happen very much. I think maybe 3 or 4 times a year we've had a guest that's had to have that happen, but it doesn't happen very often. We've been pretty blessed. Actually, before we even put the barn up, for 2 years we never had to use it. So it seems like putting the barn up, God was
Wow,
like, okay, now you
that's
have a place to
amazing.
go. So
Right.
now
Yeah, that's
it's
funny.
there. Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah. And that's kind of nice that, out of a full year, it's really just been like a handful of people who've had to do that, especially
Hmm.
with how unpredictable our weather is here. And so it's nice to
Yeah.
know that we've had some really good weather weekends here in Tennessee for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. What are some of the most important things that couples should ask about a venue's rain plan before they sign the contract?
Well, I think the first thing is whether or not they even have a rain plan. So
Yeah.
make sure that the venue, that they won't cancel your date, or that they'll have a way that, find out if there is a rain plan, and then what's going to happen if it does rain on your event. And
Hmm.
then the other things to think about is, it doesn't cost more money, and how far away from the rest of the party is it going to be, and then how is it going to affect your overall vision for your event? Am I going to, like ours, am I still going to be able to use the barn for dancing? Am I still going to be able to use the plants that I had for the party? Or is all that going to go away once we have to move things in? Those are kind of things you want to actually make sure that your party's still going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah, that's so true. Those are some really good things to ask. Like, you know, when you're at your venue tour, being like, okay, walk me through exactly what it would be like. And I think another one of those great questions would be is like, when's the absolute deadline of when we have to make a decision? Is it on that day? Is it the day before? Is it an hour before the ceremony? Like, how does all of that work? And I guess, how do you guys determine that at Rustic Elegance? What's your policy on that?
We have gone all the way up to about an hour beforehand, just because we know that they
Okay.
want it outside. And so if they really don't want to change it, then we'll all standing around hoping it gets sunny, and then we'll change it as fast as we can. Usually for us, and it really depends on what they're planning. If we think it's going to rain, we'll set it up. So it'll be all set up for the rain plan. We'll explain to her that the closer it gets to the actual wedding, we may not be able to do everything that they had in the ceremony site and move it over. But for the most part, we'll have everything kind of set up for them, and we can duplicate a lot of what they have out there, and we'll just wait. And if they think, nope, we're going to do it outside, then we'll do it outside, and we'll move everything and reset it the way they had planned for dancing or what have you. Otherwise, we'll try to get them to do it as early as we can so that we can all make plans, especially if they have cocktails in between while they're taking pictures. So we'll have to figure out how that's going to be maneuvered if we should have to move it into the barn. So the earlier the better, but we will wait as close as you need us to wait.
Yeah, you never know when the sky's just going to open up and the sun's going to come out with unpredictability. So, yeah, it could totally happen.
Right.
And then you're out there, I'm sure, wiping down all the chairs and things like that, all the pews that you guys have, being like, people are going to be sitting on these. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
I know, yeah. And a good thing that I like about your venue too is that you guys offer so many great rental options too and decor that you already have like in stock and on site. And so I did see like the wedding that I was at your property, like they had the best day. Like the weather was so gorgeous, so they didn't need a rain plan at all.
Right.
But I did see in the barn, you do have like a beautiful arbor in there that is like a rental of yours. That it's like, if it did have to move in there, you already have this like gorgeous decor that's like freestanding in the space already. And so it's like you guys have really thought that through and like already have had it set up to where that can happen.
Right.
And I think that also gives you guys like, as you're doing the tours, like the couples more of a visual of what the rain plan would actually look like if they had to do it. And so, yeah, I think that's big props to you guys on that, which is really cool. So
thank you.
Do you guys have additional costs at all? Or have you seen other venues kind of like implement additional costs as far as like having to do a flip or a rain plan? Or do you charge for like the extra rentals or anything that might happen if they decide to go that route?
Everything that we do, it's all included.
Yeah. That's great.
Everything's included. You don't have to pay for anything extra. And I'm not sure what happens at other places. I do know that a couple of them do charge you to change over, but we don't do that.
Yeah. It probably depends on like the setup and how involved it is. Like we were kind of talking about how some venues just have one indoor space. And if they do have to do a flip or something like that, I can see extra charges needing to be applied to that just because of the additional staff and the additional rentals that may have to happen and just labor in general. So yeah, but it's good with what you guys provide at Rustic Elegance that it's all included in there, which is a huge perk when you book with you guys. Have you had any couples like truly worried about the rain on their wedding day? And how do you make sure as a venue owner like that the couple still enjoys their day if they can't have an outdoor ceremony?
Yeah, we have had. There's one not too long ago that she was so worried about the rain and so worried about how it would affect what she was doing on how it would look on the inside that she decided the day before to do it, to change over. So Jody and I really spent a lot of time making sure that everything that was outside was inside. And then we actually, we dimmed the lights a little bit. We changed some lighting. We tried to really make it different, not different, but really pretty for her. And when she came in, she was so surprised by the way it looked, and she was so happy. And that it really made us feel good because I know how badly she wanted it outside, and it just was pouring. So we did what we could to make it inside, make it look really nice. Yeah. So
yeah,
she loved it. She loved it. But it's happened a couple of times where people are like, I want it outside, and we're all standing on the porch watching the rain come down, and at some point you just have to go, all right, we're moving it inside. But yeah, it's most of the time we will do everything we can to make it look like what they want and as beautiful as we can on the inside as it was on the outside.
Yeah, definitely. That's so great for like a couple also to know that like their vendors are on their team and they're on their side and they want to like pull out all the stops to make everything as beautiful as it can be inside. as it would have been outside, which is really cool. And I'd imagine that a lot of people probably book your venue too because of that outdoor aspect, because the outside
Mm-hmm.
ceremony area is so beautiful, and you have just like a beautiful property in general where they can take photos with like the beautiful plants you have and by the creek and the waterfall, and there you have horses on your property that like they can go and take pictures by. And so I'm sure like as people are booking your venue, they get that in their mind as far as like, I want to go take pictures with the horses. I want like those are things that I want for my
Mm-hmm.
wedding photos. But then if it rains, it's still so beautiful at your venue, even if it does rain, that it's like you can't lose, you know what I mean? And so I think a lot of maybe other venues should really take note of that as well, to make sure the experience in the outdoors is as great as it could be indoors. So, yeah, for
Thank you.
sure. It's so good. So, what is one thing that most couples forget to think about when it comes to rain plans?
Umbrellas. What are you going to do with all the umbrellas?
Yes,
There's there's a ton of umbrellas
that's so true.
everywhere. And so trying to figure out what you're going to do with that, and then how you're going to get from point A to point B, just making sure we can all talk about how are you going to get from the bridal suite to where it's not raining, and keeping especially the bride all in one piece so she doesn't look like a wet dog when she gets there. So those are just a couple of things that you want to think about when you're thinking about a rain plan. Like, that may seem
Mm.
weird, but when you're standing into a sea of umbrellas everywhere, how are you going to take care of that? The girls can't even get into the venue because there's so many umbrellas everywhere. So
Yeah, that is so true. So, do you see that a lot of couples will like purchase umbrellas for like all of their guests if they are a little bit afraid that it might rain?
I haven't seen that yet, but that would not be a bad idea, I guess.
Okay.
But I haven't seen that
Yeah.
yet. I think it's just everybody's so centered on wanting it outside and so worried that everybody. It's very funny because they'll all be like, "We've been praying it's not going to rain." So
Yeah,
you know, I don't
totally.
think they actually expect it to rain when it rains.
I know. I actually had a couple on the show a few months back, and they just had their wedding in New York City, and the bride specifically Googled what the least rainy day was in New York City, and it was in September. They just got married a couple weeks ago. Lo and behold, it rains on their wedding day, and it was all outdoors, and I felt so
Oh
bad for
no!
them. It was so sad.
Oh no!
Luckily the sun shone for like just a little bit, and they were able to like move their ceremony to like right when the sun came out, and so they were still able to do like a little bit of their ceremony outside. But yeah, they were banking on that. They were just like, we're gonna chance it, like this, it never rains in New York on this day, but it is so always unpredictable. It can still happen. So let's talk about tents maybe. Like, do you guys ever
Oh
like tent the property or like ceremony area or anything to like still have it outside, but just like have a tent over them?
no, but we did before we got the barn. We thought about that a lot, and there's actually
Yeah.
like some people wanted to have their wedding up on top where the horses are and have it up there.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the use of tents and things like that, but that is a really big and a really good option. I just went to a wedding not long ago where they had a beautiful setup with a tent. So and I don't think they're all that expensive. Even if you're at a place that doesn't have that option for a rain plan, and maybe that's something that you could think about even for yourself so that you don't have to cancel if it's possible to put something like that up on their property. But even here, we've had people who wanted to have it out by the pond, have a party out by the pond, and have thought about putting up tents, which we're okay with if you want to do that. It's not a problem. You can do anything you want here. We're pretty
Mhm.
easy in that respect.
I know you guys had some fireworks shows going on from the groomsmen the other night, which I was like, that's amazing that you guys can do that here.
Yeah.
You can do anything at Rustic Elegance. It was so cool. As far as tents go, like I used to work at a rental company, and so I would help couples actually like order their tent and everything for their wedding. Well, I would have to work some Saturdays and answer the phones. And you would not believe, if it was a rainy Saturday, the amount of phone calls that we would get saying, can we rent a tent for today? Can you put it up in a couple hours? Like,
Right.
a 50 by 30. And I'm just like, oh, no, no, no. Like, that is not something that you could just order a huge tent and have over there in a couple hours. Like, there's so many hoops you have to jump through in order to order a tent. Like, you have to have the fire marshal out to the venue after the tent
Oh,
is
wow.
set up in order to make sure that everything is like good to go and secure and everything with the tent. That's at least in Nashville. It may be different in some smaller cities like Woodbury and everything. So yeah, there's just so much you have to like make sure that the rental company actually has the staff to go and do that. And so it was kind of a sad part of my job when I would have to tell people, I'm sorry, but we can't give you a
Right.
tent in this amount of time. Like it was like a 48-hour sort of time span where you would have to decide, which is hard because I know for couples, it's
Right.
like, the property might look more pretty without a tent and you're wanting to chance that. But then if it does downpour, it's like you just have to make that call and look at the weather and truly think like if it's a make it or break it sort of a situation and if you should order it, which I'd always err on the side of just order it and
Oh,
like, make sure you have that backup plan. Is there anything else that you want to share more about Rustic Elegance? Like maybe describe the venue a little bit more for our listeners because it's so cool.
well, we have like a beautiful bridal suite. It's at kind of the other end. It's right by the waterfall. It's right by the pond. And so when the girls are here, the guys don't get to play in this room, but when the girls are here, they have the whole area all the way down to the waterfall to take pictures and just kind of relax and have a good time together. They have plenty of parking where they can park over here, move all their cars so they don't have to carry everything across the grass. And then we do have the upper area where that's where most of the 26 acres is up on top, and that's where the horses are. And people have gone up there and taken pictures with them. If you like gigantic animals that will come up and stick their heads in your head, they're very friendly. They're very, they're very nice little horses, but they will, a big, gigantic 1,500-pound animal comes and decides that wants to be in your picture with you too. That's something you have to be prepared for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we do. But it's really pretty up there. A lot of people take pictures just for the sunset at the time when they want to be taking pictures. They like to get a sunset picture up there. So we have that area, and then of course we have the venue, and they are kind of two different feels to the barn and to the actual venue itself. One's a little more rustic than the other one is, and the other one's a little more modern. The barn is a little more modern looking on the inside, even though it's a barn. And then there's a little more rustic feel to the inside of the venue. So it's kind of, some people actually like to have their reception inside of the barn just because of the way it looks and kind of goes with their vibe. So we're really easy here. We will do anything that you want to do. We'll have, food trucks. People have had one person actually had a falcon bring in their rings.
I love that. That's so cool.
So it's it's kind of interesting. We have had dogs in the weddings and all kinds of things. So we're very open to ideas here, and if we can do it, we'll do it. So it's a very easy place to have a wedding.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it so much. And like you guys do have like a great wraparound patio that's covered, which is really cool. Like you could even do cocktail out hour out there. Like you have a fire pit, you have, a bags game, and it's really
Yeah.
cool because like there's this whole just like kind of flex space or like entertaining space that's in between the barn and the reception venue
Right.
where it has such a good flow to it where it's like if during the reception people want to be outside and more mingling out there, you have like bar stools and cocktail tables out there and a drink station, things like that, where it's more just like free flowing, which is really cool. It gives like people, I guess, a little bit more freedom and not like they have to like stay in that one reception area the whole time. And that gives them more like ideas and things that they can do during the reception too.
Right.
And even for couples, like more things to offer, like the outdoor games, like, even doing like little s'more kits or something. Like there's so many fun ideas and things that you can do at your venue. So I love it. And tell me one more time what your capacity is at the venue.
Comfortably, we can, inside the venue itself, for like dinner and that kind of thing, we can fit about 135 people is probably the biggest we'd want to get. I mean, we've stuffed in there 160 before, but that's with parking and everything else, that gets to be a little bit more difficult. But we can do 135 pretty comfortably.
Yeah, that's so great. And that's such a good size wedding too. It's like it's still small enough where it's just not overwhelming, and yeah, it's more like intimate and things like that, just with your guests. This has been so cool. Definitely go check out Rustic Elegance if you guys are listening. I have done some content for them, which it might be out by the time you're listening to this. So go over to Nashville Bride Guide's Instagram page or Rustic Elegance Instagram page, and you'll see some of the content that we've been working on together, which has been really fun. I got to experience a wedding there, which was so beautiful. And to just see John and Jody at work and to see, how they can execute weddings was so cool. Loved it so much. Do you want to give a shout out to your website and socials as we close out?
Sure. So we have Rustic Elegance Event Center is our website, and then we have Rustic Elegance Event Center with no spaces for Instagram, Rustic Elegance Event Center on Facebook, and then Rustic Elegance EVC on TikTok.
Nice.
So that's it for us.
I love it. Go check them out. And thank you so much, John, for taking the time to chat with us all about rain plans and all about your beautiful venue. So I so appreciate it. All right.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk later. Thanks. Bye, John.
All right. Bye-bye.
There you have it, another episode of the Wedding Reporter podcast. To see those gorgeous wedding and engagement photos, head over to NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more behind-the-scenes content. And if you like this episode, I would so appreciate it if you would rate and subscribe the show. See you next time for another great episode.